Welcome back. Today, we're unpacking a piece of source material that is remarkably brief, but man, it is incredibly dense. We're going to be looking at the foundational text of the Islamic faith, Surah al-Fatihah, specifically through the lens of 5 highly specific virtues. So let's just jump right in. What's fascinating here is that our source material is just incredibly deliberate. It organizes this massive topic into exactly 5 unique virtues, right? Not 10, not 3, but exactly 5 distinct pillars of significance. And what we're going to explore today is how each of these 5 points functions on its own, but also kind of how they layer together to give us a complete picture of why this specific chapter holds the sheer weight that it does. Okay, so take a look at how this document concisely outlines that profound significance. Notice the layout here. It totally skips those long, winding paragraphs in favor of punchy, declarative statements. And they're paired with these really simple, clean icons. You've got an open book, raised hands, a star, a shield, and a compass. So let's break down exactly what these are actually telling us. Moving to section 1, the foundation of the book. Right off the bat, the source establishes absolute supremacy. It doesn't just call it, an important chapter, it definitively labels it the absolute greatest surah in the Quran. And this bold statement kind of frames everything else that follows. Basically, whatever else we learn about this surah today, we absolutely have to view it through the lens of it being the greatest. To reinforce that foundational status, the text gives it this highly specific, incredibly evocative title. It defines it as al-Kitab, which translates directly to the mother of the book. Just think about the sheer weight of that metaphor for a second. The source actually uses the word mother. And well, a mother is the origin, right? The source, the nurturing foundation where everything else grows from. By calling it the mother of the book, the document is essentially telling us that this chapter isn't just one piece of a larger puzzle. It is the very core that the rest of the text derives its true essence from. Okay, moving on to section 2, the daily practice. Here, the source really emphasizes extreme repetition and frequency. It points out that this surah is recited in every single unit or rak'ah of daily prayers, which is known as salah. Remember those raised hands from the graphic? They highlight this active physical engagement. We're not just talking about a text that you read once and put back on the shelf. No, the document is pointing out a structural requirement of the faith, the absolute necessity of its repetition. You literally cannot separate the practice of the daily prayer from the recitation of this exact text. So, what does this all mean? The crucial point is that through this daily, constant repetition, the text is actively teaching the practitioner to consistently ask for guidance. This is where that compass icon comes into play, explaining exactly why the repetition matters so much. It's absolutely not just rote memorization. The document states point blank that the surah teaches us to ask Allah for guidance every day. It acts as a daily spiritual compass, literally constantly recalibrating the reader. The repetition serves this direct psychological and spiritual purpose, a constant daily request to be pointed in the right direction. Now let's look at section 3, a source of healing. Our source isolates a very specific Arabic term, right here, ruqya. And it doesn't leave us guessing what that means either. It defines it directly in the text as a means of healing. Back on the graphic, they used a shield icon to represent this, which implies that protection and defense are actually forms of healing. This adds a completely new dimension to the surah. It's not merely an instructional text or just a required prayer anymore. It is explicitly categorized here as an active, functional tool for healing. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates a key caveat built right into the infographic. The document is very careful to qualify this healing property. It specifically notes that this healing acts only by Allah's permission. So the source isn't presenting the text itself as some magical incantation that just works all on its own. Instead, it grounds the healing firmly within the theological framework of the faith. The surah is the means, absolutely, but the ultimate permission and the execution of that healing, that comes from a higher power. It's a very precise, very important limitation placed right next to a very powerful claim. And that brings us to the final part, the ultimate takeaway, a unified directive. The text concludes with this really powerful summarizing directive. Recite Surah al-Fatihah daily and seek Allah's guidance and mercy. This perfectly merges the daily physical practice, the recitation, with the ultimate spiritual pursuit of guidance and mercy. Notice how it echoes all those earlier virtues we just talked about? The daily recitation ties perfectly back to the every rak'ah point, and seeking guidance ties right back to that compass point. It's literally a perfectly closed loop. The document doesn't just inform you of facts and leave you hanging. It tells you exactly what you were supposed to do with that information. Which kind of brings us to the end of our look at the source. We've seen how just a few concise lines of text can outline a completely massive theological framework. And it really leaves us to ponder the sheer density of this material. Seriously, how does a single brief chapter manage to carry the immense weight of being the mother of an entire holy book while simultaneously serving as a rigid daily compass and a profound source of spiritual healing? It's just a fascinating structural dynamic to think about. Thanks for joining me as we unpacked this today, and as always, keep questioning the profound depths of the information all around us.